What's up, everybody? Today we are recording a new episode of Coldplay Replay, where we rank and review every Coldplay album ever released, ever. Today, X and Y. All right, we got a full cast this week. Everyone's here. So why don't we just go around, everyone introduce themselves real quick.
With who? Start with who? Who do you want to start with? Brett?
Who wants to take the initiative? Josh?
You're the ringleader.
Just
We've already
jump.
introduced ourselves the last two episodes, but hi, I'm some other Josh. All the things I said before, ship poster, co-host guy at Waypoint. Here because Brett is threatening my family, and I just need to get this done. Please let him go, Brett.
I guess I'll go next. My name is Gino Viteri. I'm Gino_Viteri on Twitter, and I'm just trying to be Brett's friend. So I'm here without the invite, but he's accepting it. So let's just there we go.
My name is Kate Rose 92 on Twitter and Twitch, and I'm here because I actually like Coldplay, and I like talking about music. So simple as that.
And I'm Billy.
Billy, you have to look really close at the camera, though.
Oh yeah, I have to
Like you
be.
did
It's
last
close.
time.
Yeah, close. I'm. Wait, hold on. Is this close enough?
There
I'm
you go.
Billy. Switch that
Jesus.
to the door. I stream Factory games, and it's weird.
Okay.
That's it.
Didn't blink this
That's all I
time.
got.
No blinking.
No blinking. I don't blink. Either.
And I'm Asa, A Green River 07. Is that mine? Yeah, A Green River 07 on Twitter. I like Coldplay. I really do like Coldplay. Although the best X and Y is Pokemon. So
Ooh.
Whoa.
Good one.
A little preview.
That's a little preview of what we're doing on tonight's show. Although it's probably not tonight when you're watching this, right? Maybe. When's this coming
Days
out?
later,
Maybe.
Wednesday.
Well, I mean, you said
Wednesday
tonight's
morning?
show.
Wednesday morning.
You said tonight. You didn't say a date, so whoever's watching it is tonight.
yeah.
To them, you know?
Yeah,
So,
we live recorded this.
unless they're watching it in the morning, right? So then it's like on morning.
We hope you're having a lovely time zone wherever,
Yeah.
whatever time it is for you right now.
Time zone.
The first album was the best album. What? Okay. All right.
All
And
right.
you are?
Yeah, so let's just get right into it. General thoughts of X and Y. What do you guys think?
Can I go
about it?
first? Can I go first?
Yeah.
Pretty bad. I'll be honest with you. Did not like it. I just want to be honest. I just know we all love Coldplay here, but you gotta be harsh when you gotta be harsh. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I did not think this was an entertaining album to listen to, aside from just a handful of songs. I thought most songs were skippable. A lot of songs from previous albums I was able to listen all the way through. A lot of these I was just skipping through. That's why I don't even know which song I'm gonna pick as my least favorite, because I feel like a lot of them are.
Whoa.
So I have 3 that I can point out that are good to me that I love very much, but that's the thing, that I'm very high on those, and then the rest I'm just low, just generally low on it.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, definitely off the bat, this will probably be my worst album out of the 3 so far that we have.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay.
I'm gonna vibe with you, Gino. I'm gonna
Okay,
vibe with you on
okay.
that. I'm
Cool.
not gonna say it's a bad album. I'm gonna say it's like a 6 out of 10. It is good, not great. There's like
Mhm.
out of the like 13 songs, I would say 6 of them are great songs, 3 of them are excellent songs, and the rest of them, I'm completely with you, Gino. I was like listening to them and I zoned out and forgot I was listening to Coldplay for a second, and then I'd look over and I'm like, oh shoot, this song's still going. This song's almost 6 minutes long. I've sent 10 emails in this time. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah,
we'll
tough.
talk about the runtime later. But Kate, what do you think about this album?
This album is another example of, I love some of the songs on this album are some of my favorite Coldplay songs as individual songs, but again, as an album, it's definitely not my favorite. This album is again very nostalgic for me. Like A Rush of Blood to the Head and X and Y are like my most nostalgic, like childhood albums when it comes to Coldplay. So I think I like it for like sentimental reasons, but looking at it, as someone who's trying to like rank the albums and look at it critically, it's definitely not my favorite. And looking at some notes of kind of how the album was written, I just don't really vibe with what Chris Martin was trying to do here. So, yeah.
Interesting. Billy?
Yeah, I'd have to agree with most of what everybody else has been saying. Like, I think, Parachutes is like it's the complete package. It's like, great front to back. And then with Rush of Blood to the Head, there were a couple songs that we were like a little iffy on, and then like now we're getting like a couple more songs that we're a little bit iffy on. But there are still some very good songs here that I'm excited to talk about.
Josh?
So last week I went in on just how long A Rush of Blood to the Head was, and how it was like the same amount of tracks as Parachutes, but it's like 12 minutes longer, and everyone just had a like shit-eating grin on their face, and they're like, "Oh, wait till X and Y, like, oh my God, it's gonna get so much worse for you." Um, and I thought the hour went by like fairly quickly. Of course, just like Rush of Blood to the head, the best tracks, including the singles, are like stacked in the front half of the album. Like Coldplay really knows how to write a good front half of an album, and then kind of just drag on at the end with like one other just banner, and then like fumble the ending. But because we're not having an existential crisis like we are on Rush of Blood to the Head, and it is pretty surface level as we've mentioned, it's not as tedious to listen to, I felt. So yeah, it was enjoyable. It was fine. Rent don't buy, good not great, just like Asa said.
Yeah.
Mm,
Yeah,
okay.
this album for me, I was talking to Kate like an hour ago, and for some reason when I was listening to it this past week, I like vibed with it like more than I ever have, I feel like. Um but I still like have that fact in the back of my mind that I know it's like not the highest rated album. I know it's very um one note, I want to say, in the sense of um to its detriment, because we talked about Parachutes and how awesome it was and how it has this complete cohesive like vibe to it, whereas A Rush of Blood to the Head has two distinct themes going on, but they execute both themes pretty well, I'd say. Whereas this one, it's all about kind of like, the typical like love and despair and all that, but it just doesn't mesh the same way Parachutes does for me. um Gino says there's a ton of tracks that he just doesn't like at all. Um,
Yeah.
and I like them, but they are very like uh, like tepid or non-confrontational, where like they're not like, I don't want to say mediocre, like lukewarm. Like they're just like not standouts, and they're not bad to me, but they're not like standouts in like a bad way. Um, So yeah, this was a very interesting album to listen to again, and I want to say like right now too, because it's very important to like the whole discussion of this album. But uh, Phil Harvey, who is Chris Martin's like longtime friend and manager, creative like director, and all that, like he's been a part of like the creation process of every album except this one. So
Interesting.
when they had finished recording Rush of Blood to the Head, the band and Phil like departed, and so when they were in the process of recording this album and putting it together, like he wasn't a part of that process, and I think it's pretty clear, like listening from Parachutes all the way probably to Music of the Spheres, like you'll be able to tell a distinct difference between um, all the albums compared to this one too, and so it's very unique in that way. But yeah, so let's get into some quick facts here. So we got release date June 6th, 2005. It was produced by Ken Nelson, who produced Parachutes and A Rush of Blood to the Head as well, and also Danton Supple produced it as well. It was recorded from January 2004 to January 2005, so about a whole year. The four singles
Oh,
were what?
I heard that as January 4th through 5th, as in like they recorded it in 2 days, and I was like, holy shit.
That would be
Okay.
crazy. I wonder if a
Yeah.
band,
Is-
a band had to have done that before, right? Recorded an album.
right.
I wouldn't
Like,
doubt it. I mean,
that
In
they-
like a week maybe, but 2 days, that's like
weekend.
maybe an EP, but not a full length album.
I
You
don't
have 48
That's why the
hours to
last half of the
record
album
1
all sounds
hour of
the same.
music. Like it's fine. You know,
Oh my
you can
god.
do it. It's achievable. It's achievable.
it is actually.
I'm sorry, Brett, keep going.
No, that was like, because I remember writing this down, and it was like tricking my own brain of like, wait, is this a year that it took? Yeah, so
Yeah.
that happened to me too. So the 4 singles were Speed of Sound, Fix You, Talk, and The Hardest Part. The runtime is a cool, breezy 62 minutes and 30 seconds. Let's go.
Easy breezy.
And
Easy breezy.
does anybody want to guess the Metacritic score for this album?
68.
68.
72.
72.
I know. I
I cheated and already
screenshotted it.
looked, so.
I screenshotted it when I like because music is so hard to find on Metacritic, and when I finally found all the Coldplay albums, I like screenshotted it to have dirt on Brett, as if like that was like legit dirt on Brett. They
It
were
is.
just like something to pull back to and be like, oh well, at least Parachutes only has like a 82 or something. But I can't remember. I'd say like 73, 74.
Yeah, okay. So it has a 72 on Metacritic, which
Oh, wow. Okay. I see.
Oh,
Asa-
Nice.
Asa got on the nose.
Easy.
And
Let's go.
it's funny. Well, obviously, A Rush of Blood to the Head is pretty critically acclaimed. It had an 80 on Metacritic, and then Parachutes had a 72 as well, which is interesting.
That's a fallacy.
Yeah. Well, that's
That's
like
wrong.
that's like new band kind of thing. So maybe they were, maybe
True.
people are
If
just,
you look
They're
back
probably
at
being
it,
harder on them, yeah.
yeah.
Goddamn pitchfork.
I know.
Pitchfork, though.
when I was looking
doing
at
its thing.
when I was looking at the Pitchfork review today, the same guy wrote the review who wrote the review for Parachutes. He came back. Remember, he
This
wasn't.
came back.
He
Oh,
didn't
I
write
can't
the.
wait, dude.
he-
I can't wait
he-
to hear.
He didn't.
I feel like he could have copied what he wrote for Parachutes and put it on X and Y, and it would have been more applicable.
Yeah,
Hmm.
True.
Was it like
'Cause he didn't-
innocent but pretty
didn't-
or something like that?
he didn't write the review for Rush of Blood to the Head. It was somebody else, but he hopped back in. He wanted
Hopped back
another piece. Yeah, so 72 on Metacritic, 7.9 user score. So we gotta include the user score just because that's another valuable piece of information.
Mhm.
Let's get into the 3 critic reviews. So NME didn't give it a score. At least I couldn't find one from their website. But they wrote confident, bold, ambitious, bungled with singles, and impossible to contain. And they said that it was reinforced Coldplay as the band of their time. Josh, when someone says you're a band of our time, what does that mean to you?
I mean, they're a band of the time, but the time precedes that time. So like, they may encapsulate the early 2000s, but we get to the 2010s and Coldplay ain't as prevalent anymore. So that just means the albums to come might start going downhill. But they're like good for like one chunk of time, and then after that, like not so much.
Yeah.
That's what it says to me.
Yeah. Hey, so what is band of like the current time? What does that mean to you, man?
I actually feel kind of like the same thing. Like if it's band of that time, it's you look back at that era, and I'm not saying that all of their success is going to be stuck in that time, but it definitely is like it's not a good thing. It's like that they're going to have a hard road ahead if they want to continue to be relevant. Like if they want to continue to be a viable option for music listeners in the years to come, they're going to have to change something.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Pitchfork, they gave it a 4.9 out of 10, and they said, Joe
That's brutal.
Joe Tangari, same guy who wrote the Parachutes review for him. He said, like Coldplay's 2 previous albums, only more so. X and Y is bland but never offensive, listenable but not memorable. It may be pointless to hate them, but with this album, they've almost certainly become the easiest band on the planet to be completely indifferent to. Pretty harsh.
This is that guy that was Coldplay in school that they took their name. I'm sorry, that's that same guy, dude. That is that guy just out for revenge for these guys. He hates them. He
Oh
just
my
doesn't like them.
God.
I feel like he just doesn't like them. I
Like,
agree. With
he has to he has to hate Coldplay
He
because
has a vendetta.
while I don't like the album as much as the previous two, I would not say it that harshly.
yeah, like he's
Yeah.
insulting
He goes a
them.
little
just
too
insulting
far.
them.
He'd probably punch Chris Martin if he had the chance.
Right.
No, the next album he's gonna be like, I'd probably punch Chris Martin if I had the chance. That's the review.
Chris Martin walked in front of my car while filming a music video. Now I hate him. Like
we're
know,
gonna be
that's
reading
where
all these reviews, and they're gonna slowly descend
Oh
into
my
madness
God.
as he like gets more like intense with his critiques. I do
My
gotta
gosh,
say,
dude.
like that, because that's the common sentiment of criticism for this album. And I love this album. I love all their albums. Like they're all, if I had to listen to one, like I wouldn't complain about it. But it does feel on the mark, like in the general sense of like it is pretty like uh I don't want to say bland, but like it's one, like I said, it's one note. It's like it's all the same like vibe, but in a way that detracts from the album. So
Right.
I like this one feels most on the mark in some of its description than his other review. And then Rolling Stone, Calife Sena gave it a 3 out of 5, and they said X and Y finds ways to reward persistent listeners, especially those who make it all the way past the end to the bonus track, which we'll get to. And I love that song. It's incredible. Sales, it sold 13 million copies, 8.3 alone in 2005. It, like, we'll get into it, but like this album, like almost is Viva La Vida is probably the peak in lots of ways, but this album really like crescendoed in terms of the popular consciousness of this band with sales and stuff. Over
Right.
1.4 billion streams on Spotify, which is a lot. I didn't compare it to last album, but it's around that same, but just over a billion. Obviously one song kind of leads the charge there again, like previous albums.
Fix you.
Of course,
Yeah.
of course.
Fix you.
Thank you.
Fix you.
Nailed it on the money.
Nice.
Thanks, BTS, making us relevant.
Oh my
Oh
God.
man.
He says with a BTS hat on.
Hey, do you have a BTS hat on? Wait,
I
what?
do.
Yeah.
Oh, is
Speak
that
yourself.
BTS?
Speak yourself.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's gonna be for the new album with that BTS collab. That's gonna be
Oh my
incredible.
Full
God.
circle.
That's gonna be
Ooh,
awesome.
boy.
That's gonna be the song of the century, dude.
Yeah,
Song of our time. It's gonna be song of
Yeah.
our time.
it's gonna be
Gino's
incredible.
gonna get married to that song.
Oh yeah.
I know. I know it.
The
I
song,
Oh
feel
my
it.
God.
the song is gonna be called My Universe, so it would be very apt to have that song be played at your
Wow.
wedding.
At a wedding. Oh
Yeah.
my god.
Oh my
Damn.
gosh.
It was
Crazy.
some awards. It was nominated for Best Rock Album at the Grammys. Didn't win, unfortunately. It was number 1 on the Billboard 200. So their first album to be number 1 in the States. Parachutes was like 42, and then A Rush of Blood to the Head was like 8 or something, or 12. It was near, at the top, but not number 1. And then it was 3 times platinum. So CD sales is over 3 million sales alone. Okay, so let's get into some of the categories. So favorite song from this album, guys. What's your favorite song from this album? Kate, I'll start with you.
Well, I want to preface this with just a quick comment about how we're talking about the overall vibe of this album and how it seems to only have one note. I think an important thing to mention is that Chris Martin wrote and dedicated this song to Gwyneth Paltrow's father, who passed away.
Mm-hmm.
And so a lot of the songs have a very similar theme, and this whole album is basically a love song to Gwyneth saying, I know you're going through a hard time. We're like, our relationship is rocky now because of this, but I'm here for you. And the number 1 song from this album is Fix You, and that song, like, that's what that song directly says. is like, I'm here and you're going through a hard time and I want to try to fix you, which is kind of a, if a husband said that to me when I was going through something, I honestly don't know how I would feel about that. But you know, he had good intentions. Like the intention is there. And
Right.
so I think maybe coming off the, coming off of A Rush of Blood to the Head, they did pretty well with The Scientist and Clocks and the singles from there. I think that I don't know if he would have made this album the same way if they hadn't gained the success they did from that previous album, because this album seemed like a very, very personal, like creative endeavor for him,
Mhm.
Yep.
So I think maybe that's why it doesn't hit as hard, like in terms of, critics' ratings and everything. And I honestly don't think that Chris Martin and the band like really cared. I think like it was just like so emotional for him, such a like hard time for him in his life. I think he just wanted to make it and just like get it out there. And I don't think he really cared about, what other people thought of it, really, to be honest.
Yeah.
So that's my take on it. Even though it's not my favorite, I admire what they did with it. So my favorite tracks are A Message. That's my favorite song. Followed by Swallowed in the Sea. Followed by Talk, with an honorable mention for Till Kingdom Come, which is the last secret track, because that song is wonderful.
Oh yeah. Interesting. Okay. Billy, favorite song, man. Song resonates with you the most.
Yeah, I gotta go. Yeah, I gotta go. I gotta go with "Swallowed in the Sea." It's just such a nice, like, sweet, song, and it builds in such a nice way. Um, Very heartfelt. Gets you in the feels. Makes you feel something.
That's right. That's right. Gino.
Oh no.
We'll save it. We'll save what you're thinking right now for later. But what's your favorite song?
No, yeah. I'm gonna just say "Fix You," especially it was between that talk and Speed of Sound. But with what Kate just said about I didn't know that the whole meaning behind the album and stuff like that, that it's about helping Gwyneth Paltrow with the loss of her father and stuff. And I remember the first episode, Brett, when you asked us what our memories were with Coldplay, the one that stood out to me that I said was watching that show Derek, where they played "Fix You," and hearing what Kate just said now uh, made me think that they didn't just play that song because it's an emotional song, but it's because of, in the scene he's reconnecting with his father. So the personal feelings in that song, as Chris Martin was writing them, um, connect with that scene. So it just makes it all the more impactful now. And yeah, and obviously, BTS covering "Fix You." 100% just you know what I mean? Like they picked their favorite song, so that's gonna be mine.
Right. Yeah.
There you go.
Josh.
100% like hands down Talk. Like I didn't know this was a Coldplay song, and so just listening to the album, as soon as the like guitar riff like started, and it sounds like super distant for the first two times through, and then it's boom in your ears with the drums. That just like that got me so excited, and I was like, oh my god, this is a Coldplay song. Like I remember like listening to this on the radio, and like in movies, and I love the themes of the song in terms of like being like super distant, wanting to talk but like feeling ignored, um, and like just going through a rough time and just wanting to talk. But also like the instrumentation paired with it is like fantastic, and just having like during the verse, having the guitar and the drums kind of take a back seat while Chris Martin sings, and then the drums start kicking up for the chorus, and then the guitar's just coming, and it's so hype, dude. I love Talk
Right.
so much.
Dude,
Yeah.
I agree with you, man. I do. That's why I was one of is between those, because, like you say, you hear the guitars like in the distance, And
Yeah.
then when the drums come in, it goes really hard. It's
Oh.
so cool, man. It's
Yeah.
such a
Oh
good
yeah.
song, yeah.
Top
Especially with the
popped off.
video too, yeah.
Oh
yeah,
yeah.
the music video is incredible. It might be my favorite music video from this album because the other music videos, Speed of Sound and Hardest Part and Fix You
Fix
are
You.
all like pretty like them just on a stage or walking. Like this one actually has like a kind of a story to it, and it's like in that old timey
Right.
movie like 50s space.
Black and white.
Yeah,
Mhm.
and with Talk too, it's like it's so fast. Like
100%.
that's one thing I do like about this album is like the whole album is much faster than the
Mm-hmm.
previous two, and so it does have that tempo that I do appreciate.
Yeah.
Right. Super weird to put it like after Fix You, which is kind of a slower song, and then it just it kind of felt like whiplash, but
I
like in
think
a
it
good
I
way.
think it's at organ kind of that ends Fix You and then kind of begins Talk a little bit.
Okay.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like it.
Ace,
They're
a
like, you
favorite song?
crying? Now you got to dance.
Yeah.
Now you gotta go hard.
Let the tears let the tears fly off your cheeks.
Yeah.
Asa, favorite song?
Yeah. I'm just gonna have to say "Fix You." It's not because BTS is actually similar to Gino's TV
It helps
show.
It helps though.
It does help. It does help. One of my favorite TV shows is Scrubs,
Mm-hmm.
and there is a pivotal moment for the character Dr. Cox where he's working really hard to save all of these patients. Well, the episode starts, he's trying to save this one. He thinks he saves her, but she ends up dying. But it seems like it's going to be a great moment. Hopefully, I'm not just spoiling this episode for people
Spoilers.
who are wanting to watch Scrubs. But anyways, like he feels like he has like the best idea to give this lady's organs to all of these patients that are like dying at the same time. They all need organs. Well, it turns out she had rabies. And so he put all of these rabies infected organs in all of these people. And so they all just started dying at the same time. And he's like fighting so hard to save everyone. And Fix You starts in and it's going slow mo. And you know they're about to all die in that moment. And he is just like, you see that like look in his eyes of, so really it's because of Scrubs that Fix You is like my favorite song. But like that moment is just like those two are just, they're intertwined. I can't think of one like without the other. And that's what puts it above Talk, puts it above Speed of Sound and everything else and Hardest Part.
Right.
So
It's
Yeah.
heavy.
Scrubs is a comedy. It's a sitcom, right?
Yeah. Oh, I put all these organs
dramedy?
for rabies in
not
people.
a sitcom. Yeah, dramedy is a
Yeah.
good.
A dramedy.
A little
Oh,
serious, a little funny.
That's good feels.
Fix
That's
You
intense.
Fix You is incredible, obviously, and for me, it's when it popped up in Amazing Spider-Man, like that. When I saw Amazing Spider-Man for the first time in theaters, and it's like right after him and Gwen like kind of like start like talking, for like them dating and.
Uh-huh.
Can't remember that.
Oh
That's
no,
crazy.
I don't remember that either.
it's a different song. I completely just had a brain
Wow.
fart. It's not Fix You. It is the song from this album. It is
somber song.
It is a song from this album. We'll get to it later. But yeah, so forget everything I said about that. But my favorite song, man, this is tough because kind of like what I said earlier, like Gino and some of you guys were more harsh on this album and some songs, but like and I was saying to Kate earlier, White Shadows I was not a fan of, and it's not my favorite song, but like all these songs are so good, but I think for me my favorite song might be X and Y, the song itself.
Okay.
I really
Interesting.
enjoyed that song.
There's
Be
just
autonomous song.
there's just something about it that like the genre for this album is categorized as space rock, and
Uh-huh.
like the best way to describe it is like
That's accurate.
pretty much anytime I listen to it, it does feel so atmospheric, and that it transports me every time. And we'll get into like the lyrics later, but I love the lyrics in that song too. But yeah, every song on this album like I like. So but it's interesting like how we'll rank it and how I'll rank it personally. Like it's a weird album for sure. So opener, what do you guys think about Square One to kick off this album? Asa shaking his head.
I used to always skip this one
Yeah.
when I was younger. but listening to it now, it is. You have to like get past the initial like 30 seconds of it really getting in there. It is a good. I think it's a pretty good one. I think like the message of it and the lyrics are really good, and I think the song does get to a pretty good like tempo and enjoyable listening experience. But it's just I I don't like when songs have a really long intro to get you into the meat of the song.
Mm,
Like I get bored too quick, and I'm
Yeah.
like, let's move on. So
But especially as the starting track, that it takes a while to still get you into it.
mhm.
It just makes you think that the album's just going to be slow throughout. If this is what it's going to start as, you know?
Yeah. I think What
Yeah.
If is a great opening track.
mm, okay.
You're like, when I listen to this album, What If is the first track?
Yeah.
Mine starts at Fix You.
Oh my god.
Dang.
White Shadows. I love White Shadows.
I liked White Shadows.
Little guitar rhythm. It's so because it's so fast
Yeah.
paced, like we said. Like it's just like constantly like just keeping you going. So,
Right.
that was the one that grew on me. I told Kate earlier over this past week, but
Brett, have you did you look up the meaning behind White Shadows?
no, I did not. You got some
Because
knowledge.
I did.
You got some knowledge on
And
drop on us.
Got some real.
so
good
this
stuff.
is what Genius said.
Okay.
White Shadows was given its name as a tribute to Bruce Paltrow, Chris's deceased father-in-law. He was a Hollywood producer whose credits included The White Shadow, which is a 1970s series about a white basketball player on an all-black team.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Very interesting.
That makes me a little uncomfortable with the name White Shadow now.
Yeah.
I know. So
Yeah.
like I don't. Yeah. So the show is called The White Shadow
I don't know if I can like
because
the song anymore.
I know. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to ruin the song. I mean,
That wasn't that great already.
it's like Brett. What does the song mean to you?
Yeah, I think
Maybe I should have asked you that before I potentially ruined it for everyone.
no, like
He's so shook right now.
Right.
the lyrics don't really stand out to me, but just based off the concept of a shadow, just like something that has left a mark or is kind of, you know, leaving an
Mhm.
impact on something that's currently, still in play. So that's what I think of
I
shadow.
do like the hook. The lyrics are like some of the lyrics are maybe you'll know when you see it, maybe if you say it, you'll mean it, and when you find it, you'll keep it. So I think not thinking about why Chris Martin originally wrote it, I think a white shadow can kind of be maybe like a light at the end of the tunnel or kind of like a little glimmering hope of like, I have this goal in mind or this like state of being I want to be in. And so a white shadow is maybe something where it's like you see it kind of lurking and you're trying to get there.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. To go back to square one, I like the ending of it when all the music instruments get stripped away and it's just him singing. I do like that part. Like I said last week, anytime artist like strips everything away and just sings or raps or whatever, like I always appreciate something about that. So it really enjoyed that.
Oh,
So
Asa, you talking about Square One not being the first track. Chris, like in an interview, Chris Martin said that like when he wrote it, he was like, it had to be track one because you can't have a song called Square One be like track 7 because it has one in the title. So he didn't
even really like it.
Yeah.
it wasn't even his original choice as the first track. He was just like, well, it has one in the title. We're putting it
Right.
track 1.
Right. If
That's
the
so
manager
funny.
was still there, he'd be like, "Yo, Chris, like it's totally fine. We can have like square one be track 2, but because there's no manager there,
Or
Chris,
call it
Chris
Square
just
6.
that's
And
that's
Yeah.
put it at number 6.
Or just
Oh,
call it Square.
that's
I don't know.
that's true
Yeah.
though,
Just call it
Josh.
Square.
Like
just call it square.
we
Oh my God.
Have it be one of the, what was it? They wrote 60 songs. Have it be one of those that were dropped.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's what I was gonna bring up. Like, because Josh, you said like we don't know what the album might have looked like with Phil Harvey being in charge, but That was one thing I
Mm.
did want to bring up was they recorded 60 songs and they threw out like 50 of them or something like that.
Fully
Like,
recorded 60 songs.
It says they wrote 60
No way.
songs.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Kelly wrote.
yeah, 60 songs were written during the sessions of
Mm.
them conceiving the album, and then 52 of them got.
Honestly,
ditched.
that's not super uncommon for bands.
Yeah.
How much do you want to bet these were the last ones that they wrote? And at this point, they were just like, we're tired. Like,
That's another
Oh my
thing too,
God.
was this album was so anticipated that they really wanted to take their time in
Right.
making it, because Parachutes was great, and then Rush of Blood to the Head was even greater in terms of the critical acclaim and sales. So
Right.
they were like, they felt really under the gun, under pressure of trying to make a good album. And there was like this one little tidbit that they delayed the album so much that the EMI, who owned the record label that Coldplay was under, like they lost like a lot of uh what's the term? I'm blanking on the term right now. Stocks, like this, their
Like-
share price.
Oh.
Their
Price?
stockholder investment.
Yeah, it went down like
Investment, yeah.
significantly.
Damn.
And a significant part of that was because the album kept getting delayed. Which,
Well, that totally goes against what I originally thought when I said, like, I don't think he really cared that much about the album because it was so personal. So
Yeah.
then I don't know what he was thinking.
yeah, it was just a sense of
I
like,
don't think he did either.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, sounds like if they wrote that many songs, it sounds like he was maybe a little back and forth on.
It sounds like they crumbled under the pressure. Like
Yeah.
they
Right.
felt that pressure that you're talking about. Like they kept moving
Yeah.
the album back.
yeah,
50 songs. Like
Just
I
got-
feel
Yeah,
like
it's
they,
really
they
true.
probably were just like, okay, we got the deadline from the label. We can't
Mhm.
push it back anymore.
yeah,
Here we go.
Yeah.
yeah,
Right.
yeah. Because, and I brought the 60 written songs up because it has not been mentioned in Parachutes or Rush of Blood to the Head in terms of like they wrote, so like so. And I would love to watch the Coldplay documentary with you guys like sometime, because it does go over this era of the band, and part of it
On this
does.
episode?
Yeah, we could. And
Pop it on.
yeah, you can like, because all these interviews they do, you can really see like the band, like it just was a tough time in the sense of like being creative and creating like an album
Mm.
that could live up to what they had done before. So next quick category, title track, X and Y, the song. I kind of raved about it already. It's my favorite track on the album, personally. But what did you guys think about it?
It's a good song.
It is good. This again it's a song that I again used to skip just because I don't like how the first like minute or so sounds, but it gets a lot better, and I really like the lyrics of it. It's a really pretty, like, I mean, it's basically a love song. It's basically talking about like the ups and downs of their relationship.
Yeah.
not bad.
I am kind of curious. I don't really know why it's called X and Y. Do you have a knowledge of that?
Up and down the X and Y axis on grids.
I think
Boy and
Okay.
girl, boy and girl.
That's
maybe?
probably
I don't
it.
know.
I think
Be
Yeah,
that?
one of them too.
Boom.
because
Gino,
Yeah.
we solved it.
we'll
Yeah, boy
Done.
and girl.
Wow.
we'll talk about it
It's
later
always that simple.
with the
Knowing what Chris Martin was going through at the time, it is that simple.
well, yeah, because we'll talk about it later, but like the album cover being the Bordeaux code, which is like this like kind of like almost
Can you show it to us? Can you show it to us?
I can't pull it up. I
You have it
don't
on your
think.
shirt, you
It's
fool.
on-
You have
Oh,
it on
yeah,
your
yeah.
shirt.
Right there.
Oh,
go.
nice.
There you go.
So it's essentially like an equation that people use like way back in the day to send like telegraphs and stuff. So I think it
Wow.
has to do with like a lot of these songs talk about like fixing it and things that like you would kind of like you could work with like the concept like of an equation of solving something. And then kind of like what you brought up too, Kate, is like the X and Y, the dynamic of like a relationship.
Mm.
And all that, I think plays
Yeah.
into it as well.
I feel like as a title track, Parachutes set the bar so low that it's like anything like anything can be above it. Because again, that song just like left me
Oh,
wanting
gosh.
more. It was just like 46 seconds. Like
But it's a beautiful 46
Seconds of
seconds.
gold.
Exactly.
it is like,
Pure
man,
bliss.
I could go for like
Quality, not
Can't have too much
quantity.
of a good thing. You can't have too much mint chocolate chip ice cream, you know.
like I was like I could go for like 5 minutes of this. But you know, every other song is 5 minutes now. And like I loved it. Like listening to it today, and it definitely probably would be in my top three. But like listening to the opening, it sounded super familiar, and I just spent so much time just trying to be like, what artist kind of like either sampled this or like went along with the same melody. And I was thinking about this because I knew we were going to talk about it, and I was like, this might be my favorite title track so far. But I went back and I listened to Rush of Blood to the Head, and
You like that
I'm
one?
so conflicted. They're like right neck and neck. Like they're so close to each other because I was really high on that song last week too. So I'm conflicted. I'm conflicted, but I really love it.
You know, you saying that it sounded familiar, like I don't have full examples here, but it seems like from the snippets of like interview quotes that I saw from Chris Martin, he definitely took a lot of inspiration from other artists for these songs. Oh wait, which one was it? Um, Oh, so the song Twisted Logic, which is one of my I don't know if I can get into this now, but it's one of my least favorite songs.
Yeah.
Ooh.
It has a very similar guitar hook to She's So Heavy by the Beatles. I don't know if like any of
Okay.
you, and I didn't read this, this is just my personal opinion. It sounds very much like She's So Heavy.
Interesting.
And then one of the songs Speed of Sound was inspired by the birth of their daughter Apple. I remember Apple was like the first time it seemed like they kind of started the whole like weird celebrity baby names for like our time.
Yeah.
I remember being like, Apple, what the heck are they thinking? But he said that that song was inspired by Kate Bush, who was a singer I'm not familiar with. And then another song he said he was heavily influenced by REM, which is like one of his favorite bands.
Interesting.
Yeah.
That is so crazy that you said about that it sounds like She's So Heavy.
Yeah.
When I heard that song, I didn't know. I was like, this sounds like the Beatles, this guitar.
Yeah.
thing,
Yeah,
right?
there's a lot of like
No
when
idea.
the song isn't like synth wavy, a lot of these songs remind me of the Beatles a lot.
And
If
it's
the
exact-
Beatles
you know
like were
what, I
creating
just-
music today, I feel like that's what it would sound like.
You're
I just played
saying
them one after the other. It's exactly like
you're saying
that.
Twisted Logic? Sounds like
It's
She's So
exactly like She's So Heavy. It's
Yeah.
exactly the same
Okay.
thing.
The guitar, that's like
Oof, yeah.
da-na-na-na-na-na.
It's crazy, yeah.
Did you
Yeah.
okay? Did you know? So their tour for this album was called the Twisted Logic tour,
Oh, okay.
but
I
they
like
never
that.
they never played the song live. Twisted Logic.
What?
They've never played it live. They've
What is
never
that
played it.
about?
I don't know.
Probably
It's
a
like
good thing.
That's some twisted logic right there.
right.
is.
Yeah, man.
Damn.
Maybe
That is some
Maybe that's
Twisted
why they did
Logic.
Guys, they played it's the same song. I'm
Yeah.
listening
Really?
to both of them. It's the same song. It's the
I'd be
same
very curious to see if they like give credit to John Lennon or like any of the Beatles members for
know-
that. I wonder if they sampled it like straight up.
I know for Talk they sampled like an old like 80s or something German like electronic song from the band was
okay.
called Kraftwerk. So they
Oh, I
sampled
remember
that.
reading that now.
Yeah. Okay, so let's go to our favorite category that we love to discuss each week. Josh, what's the favorite category?
Hard Stop, the opposite of Coldplay, where we hash out our least favorite songs on the album, and we all agree, and there's never been any bit of contention. We've all just peacefully have respected each other's opinions, and it's been fantastic.
Asa, what was your least favorite song from this track, man?
I was gonna say Square One, and then I was gonna say White Shadows because of the history behind the name of the song. 'Cause
yeah.
Yeah.
that's not cool, man. But now I'm gonna go Twisted Logic because they stole it from the Beatles, and I was raised
Damn.
on the Beatles, man.
I don't.
Maybe just put those three together. Just put
Yeah,
those
did
three
you hear
together.
Lisa? Did
It's
you
not.
Yeah,
It's not.
I muted my mic and I listened to both of them.
I just have
at
to
the
say, it's
same
not.
time.
It's not uncommon to sample music, though. Like
Yeah.
it's a lot of musicians do it.
But if
So I,
Vanilla Ice can't get away with it, neither
oh
can
my
Coldplay.
god.
I'm just saying.
Wow. Gino, what's your least favorite song?
Ooh, okay. I'm gonna have to say Low, Twisted Logic, A Message. No, wait. It's because I'm clicking through them right now. So
Brett and
What's
I
the
both have just reacted so hard when you said that.
Square one, the least favorite. What If? Forgettable. White Shadow's not that bad. The Swallowed in the Sea, not that bad. Till Kingdom Come is pretty good. I don't think Till Kingdom Come is that bad.
Mm.
And X and Y, the regular the title track, not that great either. Not that bad though. But I guess my least favorite would probably be Low,
Low.
because it's not that great and it's pretty long, so it overstays its welcome.
Yeah.
I think.
I do like the just
Its
how
name makes sense, you know.
I like how ironic that the song is called Low and he's singing like high as ever, as high as he ever has. Like I do find that interesting.
Right.
Asa, I know you have a hard stop at 8:30, so want to let you go. Real quick, where would you rank this album out of the three so far?
I would rank it number 3.
Number 3. Okay.
Number 3.
Interesting.
Awesome. Well, yeah, thanks for
Yeah.
thanks for hopping on, man. So appreciate you taking your time to do this.
Absolutely. I can't wait till Viva La Vida
Dude,
because I got
oh my
some,
God, yes.
I got
Let's
some plot
freaking
twists and
go.
some stories to tell.
Yeah.
Let's
Okay,
go,
There we
dude.
go.
It's gonna be
I'm
great.
excited.
Awesome, man.
All right.
Good album.
Love you,
Thank
dude.
everybody.
Appreciate you.
Bye.
Bye.
All right. Music videos. Oh, go ahead.
We didn't finish Hard Stop. We didn't.
Yeah,
we
I didn't
Yeah,
finish
I didn't get
Yeah.
to finish.
Oh, my bad, my bad. So Josh went,
Okay.
right? Josh and Gino.
I'm sorry. I'm gonna
I
say my
haven't
thing
gone.
really quick, and then we'll go with Billy. Okay.
Okay.
So the song "Low." This is what Chris Martin said about it. It's designed to be a headphone song, is what he says,
Interesting.
and he says I think it's slightly musically nerdy because it's quite indulgent on our behalf. It's just us using all the sounds that we wanted to use. It's the song where we said, let's buy these wine glasses and hit them. We played all the studio games on that song. If you play them on every song, it turns out rubbish. And in that song, there is a part where it goes like ding a ding a ding a ding, like in an instrumental. They're hitting wine glasses, which is fun, you know.
Interesting.
I like
Very,
that.
very ignorant of him to suggest headphones, being that it's
Well,
2005. Those are
and
probably hard
yeah,
to get
we're
at the time,
we're
I mean.
we're thinking like
Not these
those-
kind of headphones.
We're thinking like the iPod, like old, like just the flat earbuds, you know, like that's
Yeah.
that's what
Right.
we're working with.
No, okay. The headphones I listened to this album on in 2005 were the ones where they didn't cover the ears. It was just like round. And if you had it up even to like a normal volume, everyone around you could hear the music as well because they didn't actually cover
Oh.
your ears.
Yeah.
You know? Like airplane headphones, like those kind of headphones. The ones that came with your Walkman, those headphones.
You guys remember
That's
Skull
how I
Candies?
listened to it.
Skull
Oh.
Candies?
Oh,
course.
dude,
I was too
died
cool
by
to
Skull
get Skull.
Candies.
I
Those
was
were
too
all the
cool to
rage,
get
dude.
those, but yeah, I remember them. Yeah, okay, Billy, I want to hear your least favorite.
So it's either between White Shadows or A Message, because I feel like A Message is like a song that I've heard on like every other Coldplay album, like already.
Damn.
Like, I've heard this before.
Mhm.
Damn.
Brett and I clearly love A Message so much because every time someone said something bad about it, we're like,
I
While you
I
guys
want
were
to
like,
I want to give my personal story about that song and why I like it a lot is
Sure.
one, it was I didn't listen to this album until like 2008 or something like that. So it was still that iTunes era. So it was one of the songs that I bought like, you know, a la carte. So, you know, a lot of investment with that. And then also too, when they did that Hope for Haiti Now kind of like live concert, a bunch of bands
Mhm.
to raise money for that earthquake like 10 years ago. Chris Martin went on stage and played a message, and the live version of that song, especially at that charity fundraiser, was incredible. Like, so
Yeah.
I just have fond memories of watching that on TV and really digging it. So that's why I
Mhm.
like it so much. But
Yeah.
Mm. Sorry.
I just think it's so romantic.
it is.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm listening to it. I was listening to it again. It's not as bad as I probably said it was.
I mean, I
It's
say
always
it's
the
romantic
you know?
when obviously a message it can be in a way of like global
Right.
love, like community love, friend love, or whatever. But like
Yeah.
Mhm.
he wrote it as a love song, and also there's that amazing moment. I marked it this time at 1 minute 52 seconds in a message. The song does that thing where it travels from like left headphone to
Yeah.
right headphone and back.
I know
Uh-huh.
that.
And it kind of tickles my brain a little bit. Like I almost don't like it, but it's really cool. It's
Oh, yeah.
really, really cool.
Yeah.
And I don't really know why he chose to do it on that song in particular and not
Right.
any other song, or if it was a random choice. But
Gotta keep it special.
I don't know. Yeah,
I
it's
have a
really.
confession to make, guys. I have a confession to make.
Oh
Give
dear.
it to us.
You haven't actually listened to this album.
No, I did. But a lot, wait, hold on. Kind of no, actually, to be honest with you, Kate. There's some that I skipped because it didn't go through. It didn't grab me enough to keep listening.
That's
But
fair.
you guys were talking
Yeah.
so much about a message that I kept listening, and at 1 minute and 20 something, when he starts
picks
actually,
up. It
when he
picks
starts
up.
picking up the way he's singing, I feel like I've heard this before, and I like it. This
Dude,
is a
check
song
out-
I've heard before.
Check out
It's
the
probably from that performance that I
check out the
remember it.
live version, dude.
Oh.
It's so
It's probably
good.
from that performance that I remember that
Right.
song.
It's so
Mhm.
good.
So yeah, it's a good song. I
Yeah.
take it. That's not in my bad list. Not in my
There
bad
we go.
list.
There we go.
It's in my good list.
Thank you. Thank you for giving it a chance.
For me though, for hard stop, I think I gotta stay consistent. I gotta go the last song. I gotta go Tell Kingdom Come.
No
It-
freaking way.
Gosh.
It
no
sounds like
way.
it sounds like a Phil Phillips song. Like
Philip
like
Phillips.
Philip Phillips, whatever. I know he came way back after the fact, but like I don't know. It's a weird way to close an album, and y'all talking about that it's a bonus track. Like I totally get that now.
You,
Um,
you like Twisted
but yeah,
Logic
no,
more? You like Twisted Logic more than
I do. I actually I've really vibed with like Twisted Logic and kind of like the instrumentation and there's like a little bit of a sinister vibe to it. I was all about it. And then Philip Phillips played not Philip Phillips, Till Kingdom Come played and I was transported back to a song that's actually in The Amazing Spider-Man 2 when he breaks up with with Gwen Stacy and he's like in the fields and he's like trying to figure out what to do. He plays Philip Phillips and it's that like For You song. It just listening to Till Kingdom Come made me think of that and cuz like like everything from Square One to Speed of Sound I think is like fantastic. Um but yeah, then there's just like some forgettable songs. Like they're not offensive, they're not bad. Uh, and then yeah, Tell Kingdom Come just weird closer for me. So
You're
I'm
ready.
actually
You're ready for me to.
It's really good. This song, man. It's really
So I'm about to blow your mind and make you feel really bad, Josh. Are you
I
ready
know,
for this?
yeah, dude. The facts about the facts
to
about
it.
this song, like, I wish we could have gotten the
Yeah.
version you're about to talk about.
Excellent. man.
So, Till Kingdom Come was intended to be a collaboration with the one and only Johnny Cash. And Johnny Cash passed away before he was able to record his part for this
Damn.
song.
And saw the like
Wow.
guitar strumming. That's
So that's why it kind of has like the guitar, like country
right.
vibe to it. And then, Brett, I'm assuming you've heard this because you're the mega stan, but I guess they do a cover where they do Till Kingdom Come mixed with Ring of Fire.
I haven't heard of this. I've
Have you
not
heard that?
it.
Damn.
No,
I gotta look that up.
Okay.
Because yeah.
That's
So-
yeah, it's amazing.
Now that you said that, I'm gonna go with my close second, "Swallowed in the Sea." I didn't really like the like lyrics and what it like built towards, and the rhyming was a little weird.
So that song's about Princess Diana. No, I'm just kidding.
I would double down on that, and I'd be like, yeah, absolutely, fuck that song if you said it was about Princess Diana.
I just want to know. I'm sorry. I'm just kidding. I just want to say it's fine. You don't like that song. It's whatever. But the song is about, again, going back to this song basically being a tribute to Gwyneth Paltrow's father.
Mhm.
I think it makes sense as a closing song because it's described as a ballad about a man coming to terms that he's dying. And I don't know how her father passed. I don't know if he was sick or if it was sudden or whatever. I don't know. I'm not saying that it's directly about him.
Right.
It was inspired by him, obviously. But I don't know. I think it's a really great closer because a lot of this album are songs either about, well, honestly kind of similar to Russian Blood to the Head. Chris Martin's an interesting dude, and he's very, I would say he's very spiritual. He's very like worldly. He kind of reminds me of like a tall, skinny British Buddha, like he just wants like everyone to be happy. He just like and a lot of these songs deal with like, and with Brett when you said like, some of the songs feeling like very atmospheric, like kind of like you're like floating in the galaxy. Like that's how I feel about a lot of the songs. And like, Speed of Sound specifically, like I think that song is really about like we're floating through space and like life is fucking random and it's like a miracle that we're even like alive when we're like a speck on this fucking planet and like there's a huge galaxy out there that we don't even know about. And like that's really what a lot of the emotions of these songs evoke. And so I think Till Kingdom Come being kind of like this very calm, acoustic, like, my days are done, but I'm good and I had you and like everything's fine. Like that's why I think it's a really great closer.
Yeah. And it's very
yeah.
It's very cozy. Like it's like we talked about how like fast paced this album is, how atmospheric most of the album is in terms of like, which is great, but you can kind of feel lost in that sense a little bit because when you
Oh yeah, for sure.
start listening to like kind of like massive music and lyrics that are like talking about all sorts of stuff, when you bring it back down to like this very acoustic song talking about a very like real like kind of concept and problem that a lot of people have, I do like that, how it kind of brings everything back down as it ends. And I like I like it as a hidden track. I know Josh doesn't like hidden tracks, but I love how they snuck it in there. And yeah, it's great.
Well, apparently there's 50 other hidden tracks that I probably would hate too. So good thing those all just got tossed.
So
Yeah, we gotta make it a segment, like Josh's hidden track hate corner or something.
Oh, down for it.
Oh.
It's just the final track on every on every album.
Wait till we
stop / Josh's.
Wait till we get to
hidden
like
track.
Ghost Stories where there's Target exclusive tracks, and
Oh,
it's gonna get
GameStop
weird.
exclusive.
pre-order this at Best Buy and get an exclusive track.
I
I have
remember.
I have another general thought about the album in general
Uh-huh.
that I feel like, and this is why I feel like I was so low on it. I think Fix You and Speed of Sound starting off so strong and staying strong throughout the whole song
Mhm.
is somewhat a detriment to the rest of the songs, because a lot of these songs start getting good late into it.
Mhm.
So if it doesn't start like Fix You or Speed of Sound or Talk, you don't, it doesn't hit the same. So like for example, I was very low on Low and I was listening to it and I skipped to like the middle. And I
Yeah,
noticed, oh, this is pretty good in the middle right here. But it takes like
Yeah.
2 minutes to get there.
yeah,
So it is a detriment that some of these songs are so incredibly good that it makes me think if this one doesn't start good like that, then I'm not gonna like it. So
Right.
so yeah, that's it is changing my mind around it as I give the songs a better chance than I did the first time.
Hmm.
That's
So
it's
that's interesting.
interesting you put that because thinking about back to Low and a lot of other songs like Square One and what have you, like they end very strong, and then also Josh said at the beginning, like the back half of the album, which I would agree with, is very weak compared to the first half, let alone that core like kind of like What If to a Message for me. Like I think it's so strong, and then that Till
Right.
Kingdom Come is great, but then that like kind of like chunk at the end isn't so hot. Yeah. So yeah, for my hot stop, my least favorite song, it's interesting. Like what I said earlier, like this album is very weird. Like when I was trying to pick my favorite song, like there's so many like good tracks, like that it's the same way for me with like my least favorite. Like Square One is okay, like the ending's great, but it's so so. White Shadows, like it grew on me, but it's still like not a strong track from the entire album for me. Swallowed in the Sea it isn't like the strongest. Twisted Logic is like kind of weak for me too. It's just tough for me to pick. Uh, yeah, I don't know. I guess I right now in the moment I'd probably go Swallowed in the Sea. Um,
You and me both. Let's go.
yeah, but it's a good song and it does pick up. That's the thing. Is like it does. I feel like pick up for me. Uh,
Right.
That was
towards the
Billy's
middle.
favorite.
Yeah.
No, I enjoy the songs that like take you on a journey that
Mhm.
that change throughout.
And
I'm,
it's
I'm much yeah, I'm much less satisfied with songs that just like kind of stay the same way the whole time through.
Mhm.
yeah, and
So appreciate that.
I like the song and like I said this to Kate an hour ago. Like the song "A Whisper" from A Rush of Blood Ahead. Like
Mhm.
I like it, but it's really like my least favorite. Whereas like all of the like the tracks I'm not like the hottest on this album. Like I like them. Like I still like
Right.
them a lot. It's just a interesting kind of dynamic to
Yeah, it's interesting, like
evaluate.
considering that this album seems to rank pretty low for all of us. Like a whisper on A Rush of Blood to the Head is a song that like I straight up like most of the time do not want to listen to it at all. Whereas on this album, the songs that are my least favorite, I don't feel the need like I have to skip them. Like they're still like somewhat enjoyable to listen to. It's not like hard skips for me, even though they are my least favorite.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Um, so that's interesting to me.
Yeah. Um, going just to the production, like I said, there was like main producers, Ken Nelson and Denton Supple. Ken Nelson like produced the first two albums, and then when they were recording the album over that whole year, Nelson came back to record it, and then they essentially like gave him the boot when they wanted to continue on. They just weren't vibing with like how he was kind of putting the
Interesting.
stuff out, and they brought in Denton Supple, who mixed A Rush of Blood at the last album. So
Huh.
that this album was very tumultuous in its development.
Right.
Even going to like the actual production of it, let alone like the behind the scenes stuff with like the
Yeah,
band members and the creative process.
like Halo's development or
Right.
mm.
100%.
Halo, yeah,
Mhm.
for Halo 2, Halo 3, like they've all had
Right.
interesting developments for sure. Um, what do you guys think about like the heavy electronic influence, synthesizers, faster tempo, like compared to the more acoustic and rock focused parachutes in A Rush of Blood?
I think this is the beginning of when they started to change the way their music sounded.
Mhm.
Because listening to the albums from now on, I feel like aside from Ghost Stories, which is a little bit more slow uh compared to their old like it's more like their first two albums.
Right.
This was like the beginning of a different Coldplay. And like Asa said, they I don't agree with him, but he says like they sort of started falling from the beginning to now.
Right.
But I feel like yeah, this is where it got more like you're saying, electronic or space sort of vibe,
Mhm.
interstellar kind of vibe. So yeah, it started changing for them
Right.
here.
Yeah.
I think it was them kind of just going with the times too, and then becoming slightly more mainstream.
Right.
It was just where music was going. Like if their third or fourth album had sounded like Parachutes, like they wouldn't have continued to grow as a band.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a very apt point, Gino, because uh, a lot of people consider like the first four albums to be like a distinct era in terms of up to Viva La Vida, but there is
Mhm.
that distinct like kind of uh, beginnings of like the different uh, instruments and tempos with like the electronic music and stuff that
Yeah, shift.
clearly go
Right.
like when you get to Milo, Xyloto, and beyond that, like then they start really like kind of experimenting with their sound. So yeah, that's a great point,
Mhm.
dude. I like that a lot.
Yeah.
What were you gonna say, Kate? Were you gonna talk?
No, I'm just excited for that album
Yeah,
when you said it.
Yeah.
yeah. Oh man,
Going off what you're saying though, like I think I'm a sucker for like for synths and stuff like that, and to see them incorporate it, I feel like in a pretty like meaningful way. Like I didn't mind it. Plus, like what Kate was saying, like it's just a sign of the times. Like everyone was doing it, and it's like yeah, you either evolve or just kind of become stagnant and stuck, just putting out the same sound. And so I like the evolution, and I felt like it helped the hour not feel so long because they're like mixed, like they're starting to incorporate that instrumentation and that sound, which kind of kept it feeling a little fresh. So I liked it.
uh, what did you guys think about the album cover? Like, did you guys vibe with it or not really? Like, out of the three so far, like, what do you guys think about it?
Mm,
I think it's cool. I like the colors.
Yeah,
yeah.
I definitely was like confused by it. Like if you hadn't told me
Yeah.
that it was
Yeah.
like an equation or whatever the hell it is, like you know, it's twisted logic, like maybe that's what the album should have been called because it doesn't quite make sense to me, but you know, it's cool to look at. It's like it's memorable. Like honestly, it's like one of the first album covers I think of when I think of Coldplay.
yeah.
So
It,
I
it
guess they did a
reminds
good
me.
job.
It reminds me of their newest album. It has the same sort of colors.
Hmm.
Um, so they look next to each other. They look like an evolution of what they were.
Their new album
All
cover
boxes to circles.
their new album
Yeah.
cover looks a lot like the orange globe like sun kind of looks like the parachutes globe like yeah
Mm.
there's so many influences in that new album
Hmm.
cover I feel like
Mm.
Yeah.
Bring it all together.
yeah
Mm.
that's funny that you brought that up, Kate, because about like the twisted they should call it twisted logic. The rumored album title is called Zero Theory.
Whoa. That sounds super cool. Like
Zero
that's a Netflix
Theory.
show I'd watch. Like that
Wait
sounds
for the new album? Is that what you're saying?
For the X
for
and
this
Y.
album.
Oh, oh.
That was a rumored title.
Damn.
Back in 2005, the internet was a much different place.
Right.
Oh yeah, one thing I want to bring up too with the sales was this was the beginning of the digital music era.
Hmm.
Digital music era probably
Ah.
started more around like 2002, 2003 ish, but this
Right.
was Coldplay's first album in that
Hmm.
era, and it was the number one selling album of 2005 on iTunes. So that was
Ah, damn.
and that was like the only like I can't remember back then like of any other store you would buy digital music from. Like there was like Napster and stuff that you could kind of rip music off of, but this was like the only store. So that being number one back then like carries much more significance
Hmm.
than it does now.
Was the Zune out at this point in time?
2005.
Zune, yeah.
I
Yeah,
want
the
I
the
feel like
Zune, or was that 2008? Yeah.
dude, the
Think
Zune was lit,
no,
dude.
I had a Zune for a very short amount of time, but I
What-
remember having it. And I think it was around that time. I think I was
First one came out 2006, so after this one.
Okay,
Mm.
just about. Okay.
Yeah.
So when Viva La Vida ranks higher in sales over X and Y, just know it's because of the Zune.
Yeah.
next week. Just keep them.
Soon
Dude,
sales.
what
Yeah.
happened to them? What happened to Zune? Who were they?
I don't know, but
Microsoft.
then
It was Microsoft.
That was Microsoft.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
Oh.
then Guardians of the Galaxy 2 made them
Them
relevant
Zoom
again.
I
tunes.
know. Zune had a great UI, like the like
Oh,
OS
yeah,
and stuff.
Zune was
I
lit, dude.
loved it. Yeah, it was fantastic.
So good.
But yeah, going off of like what Kate said, like whenever this album, the album cover is so distinct. Like I don't know, has any other band in the history of ever done an album in the Bordeaux code? Like I can't think of any other group that's done this. Like
No.
Who else besides Chris Martin knows what the Bordeaux code is?
that's what I'm saying. Like it's visually distinct.
What? I don't
Yeah.
know, man.
It's visually distinct among
And the history of ever.
it's visually distinct among
a
like
lot of albums.
any album, and let alone like their own albums. Like you can kind of
Mhm.
like go along with this theme that they have going, but this
Yeah.
one is pretty like unique.
Right. Yeah, I think it is pretty unique and like distinguishable, but I like for me personally, I like how simple yet effective the other two album covers are, like especially Parachutes with literally just the yellow globe across the like black background. That's such a beautiful like stark contrast between each other, and then like the white and gray on a Rush of Blood to the Head with like this trippy looking like half formed almost like 3D looking printed head, like uh it's pretty cool. And but like that's still not a knock against this album cover. Like it was trippy seeing it for the first time. And yeah, only someone as nerdy as Chris Martin would definitely know the Bordeaux
Yeah.
code.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Classic.
Last category before we get into rankings, and this will probably be a short one, but the B-sides. Like, did anybody listen to any of the B-sides? I feel like I did, but did anybody
The
else
only
listen?
You did.
the only B-sides I watch is BTS B-sides.
Damn.
So, sorry about that. I didn't know there was B-sides.
I didn't know either. I didn't know there was a music video for Talk until we like literally like 5 minutes before recording. So Lord
Yeah.
knows I didn't know there's no B-sides.
This isn't a B-side, but the Talk, like there's two different versions of Talk. There was a version that got like leaked before the album came out, like a year before the album came out or something like that. And
Interesting.
Wow.
it's pretty different. Like the cadence of the song is significantly different than the album release of it. It's really, I like both versions. I sometimes I flip flop on which version I like. So if you ever Google like Talk Coldplay early version or something like that, like give it a listen, because it's pretty good. But yeah, the B-sides I love, like Things I Don't Understand, Poor Me, World Turned Upside Down. Like there's some good B-sides on. I feel like the B-sides, some of the B-sides I think are stronger than some of the songs on the album, honestly. Like I wondered, obviously, like we said, like with Phil not being a part of the group, like the creative process was so much different. Like, yeah, I wonder if any of those songs would have made the album.
Right.
Yeah. Any last words before we get into rankings? Any last words?
I wanted.
Justice for Swallowed in the Sea.
I like the song.
Same, Billy.
I like that song a lot.
Same.
I might switch my least favorite song. I don't know, man. Like,
what would
I have to say, like,
Logic, maybe. I don't know.
I can understand why you don't like Swallowed in the Sea as much. Like it's almost like the melody of it is almost kind of like a lullaby. So like I can understand like why you could. I don't know why you don't like it. Is it the lyrics? Is it the melody? Like what is it that makes you not like it as much? I'm just curious.
You're asking me?
Yeah.
You're the one who doesn't like it.
Hold on.
Or Josh too. Yeah, whoever doesn't like Swallowed in the Sea, I'm just curious. I'm genuinely curious why.
For me, it's the lyrics and like the rhyming. I think is like super weird, and like it builds in a weird way for me personally. But like I get like where Billy's coming from in terms of like, saying he doesn't want like a one note track throughout like like for 5 minutes, but like instead building and kind of changing. So like I get that, it built in a weird way for me personally.
Okay. Yeah, like yeah, I feel like it, and this is just a personal thing, but like it it does pick up, but it feels oddly paced in terms of the song itself, and
Mhm.
then also with the rest of the album. Like there's some other songs that are a little bit slower, but they just flow within themselves pretty well. And the album as a whole is pretty fast paced. Um, but I like it a lot, and I think I might go with Twisted Logic as my least favorite song now. Just
Crazy.
I don't know, like I said, like there's like this album is just weird in terms of like picking a least favorite song because like I like them all. Yeah, I've been over it already. So we're gonna rank the album now, and I feel like we all are gonna land on the same spot. So we'll just raise our hands. Raise your hand if you would put this at number 3, dead last.
Yeah.
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 Okay.
Josh, where would you
I
put this
go
album?
second. I go hard second, just slightly above a rush of blood to the head.
Okay.
Yeah.
And Asa said number 3 too, right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay.
Damn.
So
Damn.
new rankings. Number 3, X and Y. Number 2, A Rush of Blood to the Head. And number 1, Parachutes. I do got to say,
No.
I don't think X and Y will be dead last. I don't think it's going to be the dead
Oh,
last.
It's
it will
worse
not
than
be.
this.
Because there's one album, and Josh,
Wow.
when we get to like, I if I
Milo
I don't know,
Xylitol or
man.
whatever.
if I say any, if
No.
I
Oh,
say
that
any
was
more, I'm
good,
gonna
dude.
give it away what I think is like my
No
least
future
favorite.
spoilers.
Yeah.
But yeah, this yeah, I was I it was initially when I was thinking about this album, like it was hard for me to rank like in terms of either 3 or 2 because like the lows aren't as low, but it is all very one note, and a rush of blood to the head. As the more I thought about it, the highs are just so much higher. Like
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Right.
it's just incredible.
Yeah.
But I like this album a lot. Like I said to Kate earlier, I listened to this song or this album the most in preparation than any other album. Probably just because it's so hard to talk. It's like a nebulous thing to talk about. Um, yeah, thanks for tuning in, everybody. We'll have all the socials down below in the description. And yeah, we're excited for next week. Viva La Vida
Yes.
or Death and all of his friends.
Oh,
Excited,
I'm so
man.
Are we
excited.
doing we're doing the
Are we
long
doing
version,
Prospect
right?
March
We're gonna
edition?
we're gonna be doing Prospects Marks edition, which has some of the songs from the EP included because they're fantastic. So I want to talk about them. So
Interesting.
we're gonna be doing the extended album of Viva La Vida, and yeah, we're excited.
Gets longer somehow.
Yeah,
Of course.
Getting
don't-
longer, baby.
yeah, I don't know what the runtime is with that. It's probably long. So yeah, we're excited about that, guys. Thank you for tuning in for this episode of Coldplay Replay, and yeah, we'll see you next week.
Bye.
Bye.
See ya.